In Russia today, the clear winner of the Russian presidential election, Vladimir Putin, began to establish the Putin era.
Vladimir Putin, the career spy, talks about establishing what he calls a dictatorship of the law.
And I looked the man in the eye. I found him to be very straightforward and trustworthy. I was able to get a sense of his soul.
In the cold, calculating chessboard of international politics, Russia has long mastered the art of hybrid warfare. Beyond the battlefield and diplomacy lies a murkier realm of covert operations, sabotage, disinformation, and cyber attacks. Today we delve into the underreported but increasingly alarming pattern of Russian sabotage attempts on critical infrastructure in the European Union, with a particular focus on the Baltic states.
I never forgot it, that feeling of occupation by the Russians. That feeling of danger is continuously ticking in the Estonians, and not just in the Estonians.
Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania, nestled along the northeastern edge of the European Union, serve as a critical front line against Russian aggression. Historically occupied and influenced by the Soviet Union, they are now fiercely independent and staunchly pro-Western, each a NATO and EU member. These nations are strategically vital for their geography, linking the EU to Russia and Belarus, and for their infrastructure. Gas pipelines, energy grids, and crucial ports make them a prime target for Russian interests. Sabotaging these systems isn't just about disrupting services, it's about sending a message, sowing fear, and testing the unity of the European Union.
Those who seek to test Europe's unity will be disappointed. We will hold the line, and our unity will prevail.
Russian sabotage operates on multiple fronts. Let's break it down. In 2021, Lithuania faced coordinated disruptions in its rail network, which plays a crucial role in transporting goods between the EU and Russia's Kaliningrad. The disruption coincided with a diplomatic spat over Lithuania's decision to open a Taiwanese representative office, angering Moscow. Further investigation revealed targeted cyber attacks and possible insider complicity. This incident demonstrated how infrastructure, even when operating smoothly, could become a bargaining chip in geopolitical disputes. The Baltic states have reported mysterious incidents involving gas pipelines and undersea communication cables.
The gas pipeline between Finland and Estonia was damaged by external activity 2 weeks ago.
In early 2023, the Baltic Connector, a key pipeline connecting Finland and Estonia, experienced unexplained damage, raising suspicions of foul play. The investigation pointed to state-backed operatives, and guess who was on top of the suspects list?
Да, мы делаем это. Но кто начал?
Russia also relies on human operatives, spies and insiders. In 2019, Latvian intelligence uncovered a network of agents suspected of feeding critical information about infrastructure vulnerabilities to Moscow. Some were even suspected of planting malware in energy systems to trigger outages when needed.
Just think of cyber as another medium of human activity. You do have bank robbers in cyberspace, you do have cyber bullies, you do have spies, both corporate and for national goals. And you also have countries that are preparing to wage war.
Estonia became a global case study in 2007, enduring a massive cyber assault that paralyzed banks, media outlets and government websites. The attack, traced to Russian IP addresses, was a harbinger of things to come. Since then, cyber attacks targeting critical infrastructure have only intensified. Rail networks, energy grids, and healthcare systems in the Baltic states and beyond are constantly under siege. Russia's tactics aim not just to disrupt, but to erode trust in public institutions.
We have recently uncovered a staggeringly reckless campaign of Russian sabotage in Europe.
Russian sabotage attempts are not isolated incidents. They are a key element of a broader geopolitical strategy aimed at undermining the liberal international order. By destabilizing the Baltics, Moscow seeks to test the EU's resolve and NATO's cohesion. Let's not forget, these tactics have ripple effects. A successful sabotage operation in one country could embolden Russia to expand its covert operations elsewhere, from Germany's energy sector to France's communication networks. The Baltics, in many ways, serve as a litmus test for Europe's ability to resist hybrid warfare. So what's at stake? At its core, this isn't just about pipelines or power grids. It's about the future of European security and the very principles of sovereignty and democracy.
Soviet tanks and troops moved into Lithuania's capital, Vilnius, and took over two important locations.
Paratroopers stormed the building.
The role of the Baltic states play in defending against Russian sabotage is monumental. Their resilience is a testament to the strength that smaller nations can muster when faced with overwhelming odds. But their fight is Europe's fight and perhaps even the world's. If the EU and NATO fail to protect their critical infrastructure and maintain unity, the consequences will extend far beyond the Baltics. It's a battle for stability, freedom, and the rule of law in an increasingly interconnected world. The EU and NATO have adopted a comprehensive strategy, but challenges remain.
A significant escalation in the DPRK's ongoing involvement in Russia's illegal war.
Following the infamous 2007 cyber attacks, Estonia emerged as a global leader in cybersecurity. Its government implemented robust frameworks, including the e-Estonia initiative, which digitalized everything from voting to medical records while maintaining high security standards.
Estonia, a small Nordic country, started building a digital society about 2 decades ago.
Estonia's proactive approach serves as a model for how smaller nations can turn vulnerabilities into strengths.
The NATO Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence brings together 39 like-minded nations from NATO and friends.
The NATO Cyber Defense Center in Tallinn remains a critical hub for developing countermeasures against state-sponsored cyber threats, particularly from Russia. However, even the most robust cyber defenses cannot guarantee complete security against state-backed actors with virtually unlimited resources. Worth mentioning that a cornerstone of Europe's strategy has been intelligence sharing. Collaborative efforts between EU countries, the US, and NATO aim to identify and neutralize threats before they materialize. But the question remains, can this level of cooperation be sustained in the face of increasingly sophisticated Russian operations?
This is not a conflict waiting to happen. It is already underway. And war criminal Putin is testing the resolve of the Western civilization.
Another dimension to this conflict is the battle for public opinion. Russian propaganda often seeks to sow doubt and division within European societies, portraying sabotage incidents as internal failures or false flag operations.
Now, Russia's been accused of planning a campaign of sabotage against energy infrastructure in the North Sea to be activated in the case of war with the West.
The media's role is paramount. Accurate reporting can debunk misinformation and ensure that the public understands the gravity of these threats. However, this requires a delicate balance, avoiding sensationalism while maintaining vigilance. The battle against Russian sabotage is a marathon, not a sprint. As technology evolves and geopolitical tensions persist, so too will the tactics employed by adversaries like Russia. For the EU and the Baltic states, the path forward involves constant innovation, unity, and an unwavering commitment to democratic values. As history has shown, freedom and security are never guaranteed. They must be earned and defended. In the end, this isn't just a Baltic struggle. It's a collective fight for a future where power is not wielded through coercion and sabotage, but through cooperation and mutual respect. The shadow games are far from over, As Russia continues to play its hand, the question is whether Europe can anticipate its moves and safeguard its future. Because in this game, the stakes couldn't be higher.